Rascal is a speed-based 3D platformer that is currently doing a Kickstarter campaign to get funding for a full-fledged game, and I am obsessed. You see, I first heard about this game because most of the development team actually consists of a large group of content creators that I have become a big fan of. Curiomatic, formerly known as Smashified, most well known for their Mother 3 tribute video, or that time they made the entire internet think that Rayman was going to be Smash 4 DLC, an alternate universe I'm still wishing I was a part of, is a YouTube channel that provides in-depth gaming and art technical analysis and creation. It's a lot of stuff like recreating game assets, fonts, music, and sometimes even full-on game concepts and demos, and all of it is presented with an insider know-how that makes these more technical topics understandable for the layman that is me. And that's why it was such big news for me when they announced that they had teamed up with independent developer Gabriel Gonzalez to make a game all their own. And I was so interested to see these guys, who had clearly demonstrated a strong knowledge of game design and asset creation, finally make something that wasn't limited by the bounds of fan art. And clearly they were interested in me seeing that as well, because they were kind enough to give me an early access peek at their Kickstarter demo, which, thanks for that. Love you guys. Going into this, I firmly believed that the folks over at Curiomatic were going to turn out for this one. And now that I've played it, well, you saw how I opened the video, you saw the title, you take a guess. Rollin Rascal is a 3D platformer featuring a main character who moves fast, turns into a ball, and brings a lot of style to every one of his movements. And already, there might be a comparison to a certain gaming figurehead brewing in the back of your head. But let's not talk about the hedgehog in the room just yet. Instead, let's talk about this movement. Everything here is momentum based. You have a pretty good base running speed, but if you want to go really fast and really rocket through the level, you're gonna need to work for it. And there are plenty of different ways to do so, all of which starting with turning into a ball. On its own, ball form gives you enhanced downhill momentum. Go downhill in ball form, you start rolling really fast. But you can also choose to bounce yourself on an incline or rev yourself up and go flying, all of which you can do at basically any time. The only limitation to your flow or the speed that you can get is your ability to sight read the level. It really feels like just about anything you can think of is something that you can pull off. Helped all the more by the fantastic playground the game gives you to experiment with these choices. Rollin Rascal in its current demo form features 6 stages, one of which being a tutorial, 4 of which being multiplayer maps, and 1 being a full-on big boy level, which while I would have loved more, they barely needed this level to sell me on the game. I was more than sold on the movement alone. If the game had just dropped me into a generic area with a bunch of ramps to experiment with, I probably would have given you the same recommendation. But when you finally start running through the Buccaneer Beach, you are treated to one of the finest platforming levels I think I have ever played. There are so many different routes and pathways to speed through that it almost felt like a disservice to the level designers to be moving this quickly through these intricately designed environments. There's so much here to explore and play with, so many different nooks and crannies to check out, and you want me to speed through this level as fast as possible? It's a lot, and I love it. I spent almost 20 minutes in my first playthrough of the first level because I would just keep running back and trying all the different pathways. And in case you were curious, yes, the level is even fun to play backwards. It's as fun to explore and run around as it is to just blast through, a balance that other similar games have famously struggled to achieve. Not to blast Sonic or anything, I am as much a fan of that guy as you can probably guess, but playing this, it was a delight to see how the game masterfully dodges some of the common pitfalls of the Blue Blur's adventures. Like, take the enemies. These are a common point of contention for the franchise's 3D outings, cause in a good most of them, they feel like an afterthought. But over here in Rascal Land, these guys have a whole layer of interactivity to them. You can jump on them, steer them around, use them to unlock new pathways, and while I struggled to make my interactions with them flow as cohesively as the movement mechanics, they still provided a really interesting set of choices. Like, you can just take the normal pathway through this point, or you can hop on top of one of these cars, kick it into this cage, and unlock a whole new pathway. And if you mess it up, you get significantly slowed down. That's another thing I like about the enemies here. They may not threaten you in a traditional sense, I never died to them, but they threaten your flow. And in a game like this, I think that's enough. And every aspect of this game feels like it has that level of thought put into it. These little micro decisions that seem small, but when piled up like this, make this game an absolute joy in your hands. There's these little combo meters that incentivize the player to interact with the game in different ways. Every corner of the map is actively teaching you different new ways of blasting through it, and the whole game is so readable and clear that you're able to pull off these amazing feats of speed, all without the game ever taking control away from the player. I spent so long just perfecting my rollout in the first bit of the map, trying to get through it as fast as possible, and I normally hate labbing things out like that. This is one of those games that I cannot wait for speedrunners to tackle. With a deeper understanding of the levels, this game is going to be wild to watch in motion. As far as criticisms go, unsurprisingly, I don't have a lot of them. There's the standard jank that comes with every early access demo. I don't really love Rascal's design. The music loops a little too quickly for my liking, and the multiplayer is a bit of a glitchy mess, but once again, it's a demo, I can excuse that. On the multiplayer though, while it's clearly more of a side thing for the dev team, all of the praise that I gave to the earlier level design applies here too, except with a decent chunk less visual polish. It's more of that same free-flowing, interesting movement gameplay that I loved. Except here, there's a couple of guys doing it with you. I have no idea what the long-term player base for something like this looks like, but a racer where everyone moves like this is a fantastic idea, and is something that I hope gets expanded upon in the eventual full game. All in all, I have nothing but praise. Playing Rollin Rascal, it really felt like we were on the precipice of something special. But it's important to remember that I might be a biased party because I already liked these guys beforehand. So I highly encourage you to check out the demo for yourself and form your own opinions, and if you like it, maybe consider backing them. I am not a betting man, nor do I intend to tell you what to do with your money, but seeing the way these guys have slaved away and really made something special out of fan works for other titles, there is no doubt in my mind that Curiomatic will deliver now that they're the ones in the driver's seat. This one is an easy backer's pledge for me. And maybe it'll be for you too, but unfortunately I can't make that decision. So go download the demo for yourself and tell me all about your thoughts in the comments below. See ya!